Well, hi everyone. This is Sony Artisan and Singh-Ray Ambassador Don Smith. I would like to welcome you to our April Tip of the Month. I try to do these Tip of the Month features a couple of times each month at minimum. And I know since September, I've been lucky if I've been getting one of these out. We have just come through an incredible run of workshops that started last September and have just finished up in Norway about 3 weeks ago. And these were COVID delayed workshops for the most part. We hit about 3 places in the US, 5 different countries. So I would say 70 to 80% of the time, Barry and I were on the road traveling. I did a couple without her. Just an incredible run. I was pretty exhausted when I finally got home. But this last week, and this is what I want to talk to you guys about today, I've going to kind of dive in and take a look at the DxO Deep Prime 3 that was recently released. I believe you can find this. It's a standalone and a plug-in, and you can buy it separate or you can get it in PhotoLab. And I believe the newest version of DxO PhotoLab is version 6.3. So I've always been a fan of the DxO Prime Noise. I got onto them years ago when the first Prime Noise module came out. I think this is the 4th iteration or update, if you want to call it that. I'm also a huge fan of Topaz, the Topaz DeNoise, and those are pretty much the two that I use for noise reduction. I just think they're incredible. And so what I want to do today is I want to start out, I'm going to show you 4 sequences of images here, and we'll blow these up here in a moment. And what you're going to see is we're going to start with the raw file. Now, the only thing I've done to the raw file in any of these is just a few little tweaks in the basic panel to open up some shadows and what have you, just so you can see the image. By no means are these finished images or but on the other hand, they're not just straight RAWs either, in the sense that I haven't done anything to them. They are a raw file. And then I work off of those and I come to the next one, which will be the Topaz DeNoise AI. And I'm not so sure. I'm starting to hear rumors that Topaz may not be supporting the DeNoise AI or the Sharpener AI apps any longer, that everything's going to go into what I'm going to show you, the third one, which is the Topaz Photo AI. Now, I can't tell you that 100% certain that's the case. I don't know. I've tried to find out from Topaz, but I haven't heard anything yet. But I can tell you, as a longtime user of DeNoise and AI, I've stopped getting any kind of updates, which I was getting quite on a regular basis, at least every couple of weeks. But I have been getting updates on the Photo AI. And then lastly, I'm going to show you, which I think in most parts here, except for one sequence, I can't remember, we'll find it as we go through, what the Deep Prime 3 is doing. I think the bottom line, guys, is whatever you're using for noise, if it's working for you, that's awesome. And it has to fit your workflow. That's number 2. And, you know, I love testing software. So I have a lot of different software I get to go back and forth on. And I know for you guys to keep jumping from software to software isn't always cost effective. So, you know, it is what it is. I'm just going to show you the results. Okay, let's start with the first image here. I'm not going to go through, I can tell you all these images were captured on Sony cameras, various models of Sony cameras. And the ISOs range, this one I believe was 6400 ISO, and I've gone up to as far as 12,800 ISO. I believe all 3 of the next sequences are all up that high. I wanted to really just kind of do one where, you know, a lot of you would work at night, 3200 to 6400 range. That would be this one. I can't say definitively this one is at 6400. But it's close, and it's, you know, it's really good noise. This was captured with the new Sony A7R5. Okay, so here is the raw file. I'm just going to kind of go up a little bit here. Now we're going to come over, and I've run this through just DeNoise. And in the DeNoise, you do have 4 modules in there that you can choose from. I just picked the one that looked the best to my eye per image. You just kind of trust me on this one. And, it does a really good job on this image. Not bad at all. So that is Topaz DeNoise. Let's go over now to the photo AI, and this one seems to be the program I said that they continue to support, and that looks absolutely excellent in my opinion. Let me go backwards. There is DeNoise AI, and here is Photo AI. Now, I'm not tweaking. You see the brightness. This seems a little brighter to there. That's nothing I did. This is just how it came out of the software when applied to it. And then finally, let's go to the PureRAW 3. And we'll bring that one up a little bit. And I really like that. Also, I'm not quite sure what's going on with these little bluer streaks back in there, but I'm not, that could be stars, or that could more than likely be part of the aurora that's causing that. I don't know. So across the board, it's hard to say. I mean, this is Photo AI, Topaz Photo AI, and boy, that's close between Photo AI and the PureRAW 3. Okay, now let's go to one. I'm going to have to shrink this guy down, and this is going to be tough to see, so I'll bring it up and put it down and size it down, because this is a highly, highly noisy shot of the Milky Way over McWay Fall. This one I know was shot at 12,800 because I was out there with a good friend of mine, Mike Hall, a couple of years ago, 3 in the morning, when the Milky Way lined up with the fall here. But we had a fog-free night, as you can tell. And just look at how noisy, especially down here in the shadows, this one is. So let me take that down a little. Let's go to the next one, which is Topaz DeNoise AI. And we'll take a peek at that. That's looking pretty good up in the sky. And again, I've done nothing in the realm of processing other than a little bit of tweaks in the basic module. Okay, and not too bad there. Let's go backwards. You can see the noise in those shadows. And there, in just the DeNoise, it looks pretty darn pasty, but it did get sharpness on these trees up here and over on these rocks. Out on what they call the saddle out there. Kind of interesting. Okay, let me bring this down, and we're going to move along to the next one, which would be the Photo AI. And you can see it's kind of gotten that darker, but there's still detail in there, and it's not blocky. Look at, I mean, that's the difference from DeNoise to Photo AI. And I'm not so sure we're seeing a difference. Well, it's nice up in the stars too, isn't it? Look at how all the trees here really, let's come up even more. And let's go back and to there. I mean, that to me is just incredible. Okay, now let's move forward with PureRAW 3. And I think PureRAW 3 actually got a little more pasty in here. Again, let's see how it did on the stars. It did a really good job, and these trees did a really good job out on the saddle, the fall, the rocks out in here. So let's go backwards. I think I would have to give Photo AI the props on this picture, but then look at the noise that's down here in the water, as opposed to if we go to PureRAW 3, how it just nails that. So, again, hey, we're all the winners here. It's pretty incredible stuff, what they're doing. But let's go to the next one here. Now, this was a shot on the same night This was about 3:30 in the morning. We drove up from McWay Fall, and we got here. This is the famous Bixby Bridge here in the foreground. The Milky Way, you could see it about 3:30 a.m. started to line up. We got a little bit of a I guess a little fog bank starting to form out there, but you can see how grainy that is, how noisy, excuse me, I'm going back to my film days. So let's take a look at now. This is DeNoise AI. And again, it just gets kind of pasty up in here. And let's take a look at the stars. It doesn't do a whole lot for me there either. Let's go to Photo AI noise reduction. And I think a lot better. It's taken away that pastiness. Look at from there to there, and I can bring that up a little bit. Let's go backwards. Yeah, I mean that's quite a bit. Let me get this more centered. This is just the raw file itself, and then let's just go through it. You can see the pastiness I'm talking about. It got the noise, but at the cost of the pastiness that, I guess for lack of a better term, everything starts smudging together. There, you just have a lot more definition. Now let's take a look at PureRAW 3 and how it handled it. And, again, kind of a tough call on this one. I may have to lean a little bit with Photo AI on this one, but I think it did a much better job up here in the stars and out here in the water. You can see this is, again, we've gone back now to Photo AI, and look at the, you got a little bit more sharpness here, but look at how noisy it is out in the water. And I'm not so sure the stars are any sharper. Let's go to PureRAW 3. That noise is gone. And the stars are definitely sharper. So I might have to give PureRAW 3 the nod on that one. Okay, here's my favorite when demonstrating noise. This has been a go-to image of mine for years. Well, for years, since 2019. I captured this image in Zimbabwe. We had actually just gotten back with our workshop group for dinner. We had shot a sunset out at Victoria Falls, and through the trees you could see this line of dust coming, and I told everybody, hey, I'm grabbing my camera and I'm gonna go run over here. This has to be some elephants. What they're lit by here, because you can see a shadow, they had one big bright tungsten light that was shot out at this watering hole here. That was pretty much all the lighting we had. I ramped this up to 12,800. I believe this was my A7R4 back at that time. And well, let's see what Topaz DeNoise can do. And that was the best when Topaz DeNoise came out. I was really excited. It did take the noise out. Look at that, from that to that. But look at again how much detail you're sacrificing up in there. Not that there was a lot to begin with, granted, but I have to say it really kept the sharpness on the elephants. But it again gives me a little bit of that pastiness, that I keep talking about. Let's go on and see how Photo AI handled it. I think a much better job. Now that's again from this was DeNoise AI to Photo AI, and I think it's just the contrast and the structure is better in this image. Sorry about that. And now let's take a look at DxO PureRAW 3. And wow, when I saw this, look at how much these trees now we're starting to get. There, I'm going to go backwards. Let's start at PureRAW 3. Just keep your eyes not so much on the elephants this time, but just back up in here, up in the jungle with these trees. And this is Photo AI noise reduction. This is DeNoise AI, the app. And there is the there's the raw that I just thought was going to be unusable. Before we move on, this is the reason, and I talk about this a lot in my workshops. Go with what you have at the time, because none of us know from this day forward what the technology marvels, especially with AI, are going to present us in 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now. I mean, who knows if maybe in 3, 4, 5 years from now, this won't end up fully recovered like a shot at 100 ISO or 200 ISO. I doubt it, because it would really have to interpolate what's going on back in here. But I mean, that really excited me. And then that excited me more. And then that even excited me more when I got to the PureRAW 3. So that kind of wraps it up, everybody. I know I had and I'm not going to name names because I don't want to embarrass anybody, but I had a ex-client write me and say there just wasn't enough of the wow factor in PhotoRAW 3. And I totally get what he was saying. However, I don't think you're going to see anything go from, just like night and day on something. These updates to software are AI trained. They're going to evolve over time. They just keep getting better and better and better. But I'm going to go back to this one more time, this image. Back in 2019, that's the best I got. And, here, let me go back. Then a year later, when DeNoise came out, I got that. And this is even better than what I originally got on the original DeNoise, because the model kept improving. And now this is the even more improved model that I get in Photo AI, and then PureRAW 3, which I think was the winner here. So 3 out of the 4 I would give to PureRAW 3. Even the one I ended up giving to Photo AI, I think PureRAW 3 held its own. I'm hoping that to have an affiliate with them soon. I'll be talking to them this upcoming week. I do have an affiliation code with Topaz. I'll put that in the show notes below. And if and when I do get my affiliate link for PureRAW 3, I will add that in for you guys. But I thought this was kind of just a fun little exercise to go through. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts. I'm actually going to get back out on the road next week and do some night shooting with some friends of mine. And really looking forward to that. So I'll be having even more night work to be testing with this software. Okay, so leave us your comments. Let me know what your tests are showing. Let me know what you think about all of this. Hey, and until next time, you guys take care.